The best FPS of 2023 may have just dropped today. If you haven't been following, a game known as BattleBit Remastered has been kicking around for a little bit, and it would have limited playtests where you would have to get on during a certain time to play the game. Well, today it finally released in early access for $15, and this game is an absolute blast, and it's been popping off in a way that I didn't expect literally at all. So this game is literally made by 3 developers, and then they have a guy that runs their social media and kind of keeps it all together. And for a team of that size, the quality of this game is absolutely insane. It's basically exactly what you would imagine if you took some of the original Battlefields and recreated them today, but instead of using, hyper realistic graphics or anything like that, it just used sort of Robloxy style graphics, focusing much more on the gameplay and the gunplay than the graphics, which I think in the case like this, especially with their size of dev team, was 100% the correct decision, because the game plays so fun. Now, the game today hit a peak player base of 31,000 players on Steam, which is absolutely insane because this game doesn't really have a marketing budget. It's not published by anyone. It just purely got this big off of word of mouth because it's just that fun. And it doesn't hurt that all the big YouTubers covered it. Now, the game is very massive. You have 127v127 lobbies, all the way down to 32v32, which takes the bigger maps and kind of minimizes them a little bit and puts you on sections of the map. There's a variety of different game modes that you play on these maps, but a lot of it's very familiar if you've ever played Battlefield, and some of the maps even have very heavy Battlefield vibes. Overall, the maps are pretty decent, but sometimes they can be a little bit too big, and the game can play a little bit slow at times for multiple reasons. Sometimes you're just doing a lot of traversing to get to battle, but there's also times where you kind of just get stuck in a meat blender, either getting pushed in and unable to kind of push an objective, or there's times where you'll just have a stalemate where you're just duking it out. And I think some of the map design kind of leads into that. Like, there's this one map with this big bridge looking thing, and running across the bridge to the different objective points is just absolutely terrible. And there are ways you can go around it, but for the most part, a lot of people just funnel down the bridge. Overall, there's a good variety of guns and different classes that you can play. The game has 5 different classes that you can pick from. They give you access to different types of guns and also give you access to different types of equipment. So obviously, the medic is more equipped for healing, the engineer is more equipped for repairing vehicles, the assault can unlock a grapple hook later on. So the classes play different, and they have access to different weapon types, like I was saying. Now, so far I've mostly been fawning about the game because, like I said, it's an absolute blast and I've been having a ton of fun on it. But there are some downsides to the game. Now, with the dev team being small, things like controller support are not very good. It does technically have it, but if you're a big controller player, you're probably not going to love the game that much. And the progression is also kind of bad. Now, the game costs $15, like I said, and doesn't have any microtransactions, which is actually pretty sweet, but it takes forever to unlock new guns. I've played about 5 hours, and I think I've unlocked 1 gun in total. So basically, I've just been using the same 2 or 3 weapons the entire time since I'm not really unlocking anything. As I was saying earlier, the pace of the games can also be a little bit up and down. Sometimes it's really high action and intense, and then sometimes you can get into games that are super slow or they drag on a little bit too long. But overall, it is still a lot of fun. Now, I'm very interested to see kind of if the game ends up holding its player base. They did put out a roadmap for the first year, and they're going to be adding tons of new maps and weapons into the game. So I think BattleBit actually has the potential here to do something pretty crazy, especially with Battlefield kind of, throwing a little bit. Overall, though, I would highly recommend BattleBit. $15 for this game is an absolute steal, and honestly, for this year, where I don't think there's going to be a whole ton of multiplayer FPSs that come out that are like really good, this one, to me, is a must play. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time.